Hello. One of the comments I saw from a subscriber, actually in a tweet, is that sarcasm as a form of humour is DOA. Not here it isn't. So here's a bit of a treat for you, Dean. And for all you chaps who don't understand sarcasm, perhaps you better give this one a miss. I'm going to start with the spelling of the word, because apparently that's a bone of contention right now. Up to about the 1970s, I don't remember exactly, but it must have been sometime around then, the black Muslims in America started demanding that people call them instead of. Somehow they knew that when you compel people to change the way they say something, or in this case to spell it, you have some sort of control over them. It happens all the time. After the Russian Revolution, the first thing the Bolsheviks did was to change the dictionary and abolish several characters from the Russian alphabet. After that, everything written pre-revolution looked old-fashioned and out of touch. By the way, the Americans did the same thing. After the Americans had split from Britain, they changed English spelling in some sort of instinctive strategy to remind new Americans that they weren't British anymore. Actually, I might bring that up later on. Anyway, let's get to another comment I found under one of my recent videos from a person who accused me of spelling the word incorrectly. Now, in my icon video, I don't know what it's called, the one on my YouTube page in which I introduce myself, I say that idiocy makes me angry. Of course, I'm not talking about people who have some sort of physical deficiency. I'm talking about the sort of person who has what looks like a normal brain, but comes out with such rubbish that his own brain rebels and makes its escape down the toilet, on the assumption that that's both a cleaner and a more rational environment than the inside of the previous host's head. And here we have an example. One of the comments under my latest video was that I was so ignorant I'd misspelt the word. This guy said he'd been ever since he was born, which just shows how ignorant he is, since any scholar will tell you that you aren't until you've reached what's called the age of discernment, whatever that's taken to be. It's different in different traditions. So, back to who told me that he knows the word is spelt. When I said that as a native speaker and, also as a teacher of English, I know damn well how to spell the word, he said he knew better than me. I'm afraid I rather lost my temper with him at that point. And not because he's but because he's and I regret to say I used a naughty word. Not at him, I hasten to add, but at the situation in general. Of course, he then stayed true to type and used a whole lot of naughty words back, not at the situation, but at me. But then ad hominem is always the last refuge of the. However, it occurred to me that he isn't the only in existence, and so I thought I'd make a video explaining my position on the word, so that in the event that I get any more of this stuff, I can just send them the link. In case you think that this particular was from some semi-literate backwater, by the way, not a bit of it. This guy said he was brought up in Australia, where there are books. I know many people in the rest of the world think that Australia is mostly made up of cane toads, wallabies and sheep. But you'll have to take my word for it. I have Australian subscribers, and astonishingly enough, they appear to be quite literate. And good for you, is what I say. considering that everything you do is done upside down. Now, I'm visiting horsey friends and I don't have my library to hand, so I went to Project Gutenberg to look for scans in which the word appears, spelt in just that way. Because Project Gutenberg put books online in the original printed format and not corrected in any way. I started looking for books that I knew would have the word, and straight off I found two. Well, I knew what I was looking for. There are plenty of others. I'm giving you two examples because that's all I need to make my point. This is Winston Churchill's book, The River War. So that takes care of the UK English. And this is Mark Twain's book, Innocents Abroad, which brings in the American spelling, which is just the same as the British spelling. And at this point, I want to offer my congratulations to the USA. For a bunch of people who can't spell the word properly, you did all right with Mark Twain. After that, I typed the Arabic into Google Translate and I got this. I then found an American organization called the American Muslim Foundation. I'd say that establishes that variant of the spelling, wouldn't you? Oh, and just to finish off, I want to point out that the word is actually spelt, which transliterates into Latin characters like that. Where are the vowels? Well, there aren't any. And there is no way that you can transliterate into any sort of Latin alphabet with absolute accuracy. So let's get to the heart of my message, which is that the spelling of is not the issue. The issue is compelled speech. The Daily Mail spelt it for years, I think until about 2005, sometime around then. But after a series of letters from the Muslim Council of Britain, in which they were advised that the word is spelt, they finally capitulated. And I'm using the word capitulated deliberately. The Daily Mail capitulated and switched to the word instead of. Not because it changes any definition of our understanding of the word, but simply because, in my opinion, it was an exercise of power from certain who wanted to get people to say something in the way they wanted. And this is across the board. It's not just a Muslim matter. Fundamentalists are exercising their power to control our speech and our thoughts throughout society right now. In this case, they got a good feeling that they whipped the Kaffir into compliance, and the snowflakes got a good feeling that they were being culturally sensitive. What could be wrong with that? Well, I'll tell you, a lot.
I think that it's an attempt by the radical left ideologues to push their ideological agenda forward using attempts to manipulate the linguistic domain. And I'm not willing to cede the linguistic domain because I don't think there are anything more important than the words that you use. And then when the government says, well, you should start using these words, you should start thinking hard about your damn government because your words are no different than your thoughts. And your thoughts orient you in the world. And if someone's going to tell you what it is that you have to think, then they're going to disorient you in the world. And I wouldn't recommend that because there's lots of terrible things that can happen to you. And if you're disoriented, you're going to run into a very large number of them.
Oh, I want to conclude with something else, by the way. There is a possibility that this, or rather, who objects to my spelling, might start a dog pile on me. In the event of that happening, I do beg all viewers and subscribers to make an effort to push this video into viral. That would do my figures good, but that's not what I'm after, actually. All I'm doing is saying this so that under the threat of that happening, it might stop the dog pile in the first place. Okay, well, that's it. Have a nice day. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, and if you wish to donate, it's through PayPal at grannyopteryx@gmail.com. Till next time.